Hey, this is Jamie from CapsuleComputers.com, and today we have a Mionix Naos 8200 gaming mouse to unbox and review for you today. So let's get right on to the unboxing. This mouse is actually boxed in a very small box. I was kind of shocked when I saw it. Usually gaming mice come in boxes like 2 to 2.5 times larger than this. But frankly, I don't see a big deal with it. I actually like small boxes. They're better for the environment and they're cheaper to ship. So let's go to it. It's actually surprisingly no adhesives. Usually I have my trusty knife to open these things. Oh, I actually like it's very minimally packed, very Apple-esque, if I may say so myself. So here's the mouse. And here is the little packed-in sheet. It's actually very small. And here's like, that is it. Well, this is maybe one of the shortest unboxing videos we've ever had on Capsule Computers, but here we are. It's a, let's see, I'm guessing this is to show the sensitivity, and these would be to change. It's not a 4-way mouse wheel, it's just 2-way, and definitely only for righties here. And here we have it, so let's get straight to the review. Alright, and we're back. I've had some hands-on time with the Naos 8200, and I want to say, as a right-handed palm gamer, this mouse is really comfortable. I found, my hands are kind of small, but I found that it's a very comfortable mouse. Your hand just naturally, thanks to these grips, your hand just naturally kind of sticks itself right in the right sweet spot almost to this mouse, almost instantly. However, if you're I guess like they call them, the claw grip gamer, this is not a mouse for you. It's an extremely long mouse, and I know my hands are actually kind of small, but because of this extra length, this part is going to be bumping into the back of your palm all the time if you're a claw gamer. Of course, obviously, left-handers need not apply. One thing I noticed about this mouse, it's very light, extremely light, but the angling for this palm I guess these finger holes, the angle means that you actually need to grip this mouse with a little extra grip than you would need for something of this weight, simply because if you don't, it just kind of slips through. On the bottom here, we've got really nice big Teflon pads. I like these Teflon pads if you're not going to use any cheap mouse tape or any extra Teflon bits to replace this mouse, the mouse feet, because the extra size means that as the wear pattern goes through, as it wears out, the other on the sides, I guess there's more room for it to compensate. And personally, I think it seems to make the mouse feet last a little longer, because with everyone's grip, although the mouse may lay perfectly flat in manufacturing, everyone tends to push down their mouse a little different. It's just like the soles of your feet. If you look into your shoes, the wear pattern in everyone's shoes is different based on how they walk. The only thing is, if you're like me and you like to put mouse feet, like mouse tape, Teflon mouse tape, just to extend the life of your, I guess, the life of your mouse feet, in case maybe you like to use a really unsmooth surface that tends to grind away quickly at Teflon like I do, then you're going to need to buy a little more expensive mouse tape to cover this huge distance. What was a little strange to me is the fact that although this mouse is very light, if you like a heavier mouse, you don't actually have any user adjustable weights like many mice in the price range of this mouse, around the $89 range. I found that was a little weird, but some companies don't do it still, and Mionix happens to be one of them. I really like the lighting system on this for the most part. The color transition, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but I've got this plugged in so I can hopefully see it. But the colors are there's no popping or popping. The transition between light colors is very smooth. And you can actually set which lights you want on. As you can see right now, this actually should be lit if I had all the lights on, but I've decided to actually turn this off for now, just as a demonstration. So you can actually turn this off, and there's a whole bunch of different light effects like breathing and blinking. And the part I really like that I wish more companies would do is you can actually set an exact RGB numerical value to exactly whatever lighting color you want. I'm personally a fan of these ridiculously small customizations. I'm sure most people will just leave it at one thing and let it go, but I appreciate it. The only thing I didn't like about the lighting is the diffusion on the mouse wheel is a little weird. I don't know if you can actually tell from this video, but you can probably see that there's one spot that is significantly brighter than the other side, and anything else on this mouse, actually. And I found that it wasn't blinding, but it hurt a little. Just a little too bright. It was like looking straight into a lamp or something, and it was really unpleasant if gaming in a dark room. I couldn't seem to deal with this problem, but for most people, if you're not looking directly at the mouse, it's not going to bother you anyways. There are 7 buttons. They're all programmable. Unfortunately, if you're really crazy about how many different DPI settings that are available, although you can select exactly what DPI setting you want for each one, if 3 isn't enough, you may have to find a different mouse, because 3 is all you got here. One thing I didn't like about it was, although it has 5 different macro profiles you can program onto the mouse, there's no real easy way to switch between macro profiles unless you want to sacrifice one of the buttons to cycle through your macros. You couldn't even change the macros offhand just through the driver's system tray icon, which was a little strange to me. Unless you macro key, you have to open up the drivers, like totally open up the drivers, and then select which macro profile you want. There wasn't even anything that would detect an EXE and then trigger a profile change, which is a bit of a pain if you ask me. Other than that, the actual macro manager, however, is very easy to use, very detailed. It's standard, but you know what? It works. It works. You can set the keyboard buttons. You can set the macros to whatever, adding mouse clicks and whatnot. And the recorder works. The macro recorder works well. And there's lots of things to tweak, like adding and changing delays and whatnot. So overall, the macro manager, the drivers, for the most part, works well. Just with the minor issue with the profile switching. The other thing with this mouse that I really like is actually one of the drivers thing called the Surface Quality Analyzer tool. And what you do is you'll just like move the mouse all over your surface, and it'll tell you about roughly the quality of the mousing surface. So this is really good because laser, I find, tends to be probably one of the crankiest sensors I have ever experienced. It can some laser sensors get really, really picky about what it likes to use. If you have, let's say, a glass desk, definitely not a laser-friendly environment. So the Surface Quality Analyzer tool really takes the guesswork out of, is my desk or my mousing surface the problem, the cause of my mouse issues. I know the sensor worked really well for me, except for a small little hiccup, just for, I guess, for reference. The Surface Quality Analyzer tool gave my mouse pad, which I know can be a little cranky itself, a 80%, and for the most part, there was no weird drifting or any odd behavior of the mouse, except for every, I'd say, couple of hours, if I was playing an FPS or something like that, the camera would shoot right up to the sky and then start spinning spinning wildly until I picked up the mouse and moved it to a completely new area. I've never been able to actually reproduce the air, so I can't really knock the mouse too hard for it, but I do know that it has happened with a relative consistency since I started using this mouse, that I haven't had any issues with other mice that I've tested and use on a day-to-day basis. The cable is something I actually really like. Not all mice do this, and I think more should. It's a braided cloth cable, and the cable itself is very, very soft in the sense that it's flexible. It's not stiff. And I like it because it means that it doesn't, when you bump into the cable with things on your desk, sometimes I find with rubber cables, it tends to stick, and you can feel suddenly a bit of resistance against your mouse. And when you're playing a first-person shooter and you're doing some very delicate movements, having that sun sticking, that change of friction or the amount of force you need to use can be a little frustrating at the wrong moments. So overall, I give this mouse an 8 out of 10 capsules. It's a solid mouse. It doesn't have anything particularly unique that separates it from the rest of the pack. Doesn't mean it's a bad mouse. It's actually a very good mouse. However, once again, as I said, it makes the decision to choose, which mouse do you buy all that much harder. If you're a right-handed palm grip gamer, I highly recommend giving this a shot in comparison to other mice in its price category. However, if you can walk into a physical computer store and they'll let you touch the mouse and hold it in your hand, I really would suggest doing that, because you'll find out exactly how comfortable this mouse is. However, if you got small hands and you're a claw grip gamer, you might want to find a different sized mouse. If you want to find out more about this mouse, just remember to look below and check out our full written review at www.capsulecomputers.com.